Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we are going to build the Nacht Ghul from the Delaque set. So this is the upgrade pack. These are the Nacht Ghul. We're going to build this guy. He's got more pieces, a little more complicated than this guy, so it'll make for a good example. So there he is, and there's his friend. So we'll go ahead and get started on that guy, and show you how he comes together. Delicate. Take your time. Don't be rough when cleaning him. Alright. To get started, let's see, what kind of Nacht Ghul do I want to build? Let's build this guy. He looks like he'd be tougher, more bits there. So that probably should be the one I'll do the example on. Alright, so I've got my baking tray. So when these little tiny bits fall, they'll hit the side of the tray and they'll be saved. So we've got our frame that we're going to use for the Nacht Ghul. We've got our instructions. Let's open it up to the first page. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take my finely crafted German clippers here. And so in this one, you're building basically the same body type. And then you're just taking that body type and putting different weapon options on here. So that's pretty typical of these sets. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the flat side of our clippers here, and let's start off with one of these pieces. Which one shall we take first? Okay, which one can I find first? Alright, let's go with 11. So let's look at this little claw piece, and that's the one I eyeballed first. So many little bits on this, and be careful because especially with Necromunda models, the plastic is so thin, it sends like this little ripple effect through the plastic and it bounces, so it might actually vibro shock off some of the plastic there. What we'll do is once we got it clipped off, we're going to put it on there. Let's find 10, they're all scattered about. I'm sorry, for my eyes, just a riot of different bendy pieces everywhere. Ah, there's 10. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a delicate model. Okay. Clip. Move quickly. See, I don't want the material to mushroom. That's if you squeeze it slow with dull clippers. It'll start to blossom. The material will deform and create like a little mushroom top. Let's see, I don't want that. Alright, so I'm going to hunt and peck around here, find all the little pieces for our guy, and we're going to lay them out like that. Now I have all my pieces cut off the sprue, and they're laid out where they need to go. So if you're doing different options like this, you can plan out where you want to go and follow along. Just have everything ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is, yes, you could go ahead and assemble now, but even though we cut tight to the model, which you'll notice there's still these little blemishes next to the model from where the sprue gate tied in. So I'm going to take an X-Acto blade. I'm going to cut the last little bit of that nubbin from the sprue gate off there. So there we go. Now the ones on the outer robes, that's just the paint job would be affected by that. Then for an extra smooth finish, if we actually connected all these sprue gates, you'll see this slight little plastic line. I'm going to use this metal file I got at Home Depot, and I am going to remove that little line. I want to also remove it inside these places where pieces are supposed to fit together. If you have like a little extra bit of plastic, the piece won't join right, and then as you build the model out, that error will take over the whole model. So as we go around this piece, Alright, then we are going to set it back down, move to the next piece, and we're going to do that on all of them. One thing I would advise about this model, because you get these thin little plastic pieces, don't go rough like that. That will just eventually catch the piece and just rip this thin little piece of plastic apart. So in these pieces, you have to move, and even if you use an X-Acto blade, watch how you put your thumb, because if you put pressure, it might snap the piece off. So extra sharp knives on X-Acto blades on this one, and slow movements with the file. Watch how you place your hand. A lot of these more complex gang members are just a little more fiddly, and they want to fight back when you try to clean them up. Gently. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to finish up these pieces, and then we'll start assembly. So we have all our pieces cut out and cleaned, so they're ready for fitting. So we're going to start. I advise people, I don't always do it, but I advise it. I normally advise myself after I mess it up. Let's do a dry fit, give us a sense of how it's going to fit together and where the glue is going to go. Okay, so we'll take our plastic glue, and I prefer plastic glue for these builds because it gives you a little bit more play before it hardens up. So, for example, sometimes you want to build areas because it'll get sticky right away, hold the pieces together, but if you bump it too hard before it's secured, it'll knock the piece out of alignment. So, whenever possible, just glue different parts together. So we'll do the torso next. And squeeze 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Now let's marry these two pieces up. And you can see the little belt buckle holds it into place. Plastic glue is plastic glue, but what you find is like the GW stuff, the applicator, little applicator syringe keeps falling out. I hate that. Okay, now let's go with our head. Okay, so something that's valuable to happen, because even with my tiny little fingers, can't always get pieces positioned in place. So having tweezers is very helpful, which is why we have a baking dish, because if you squeeze too hard with tweezers, this piece will shoot out. So that got it into place. Good. Ow! Right. Okay. See, how does this one want to fit? A lot of times, especially with these curvy pieces, you do a dry fit because it's kind of all over the place with where it wants to fit. So there we go. I think that'll do it. So once it's just kind of a touch thing. You'll, like with Necromunda models, once you get like a little piece into place, go. Yeah, so that little hose, there's a certain curve on its chest plate where the adapter fits in, and then this fits right into his hip and on the belt. So just play around until you get it where it feels like it's snug. Be careful not to touch the head or the rebreather pack. Let's see how this piece will go. I'm going to dry fit this one. Okay, because you need the alignment to be right. Ah, look. And this will tell you if you got that rebreather element because the backpack plugs into it, and looks like I nailed it. I'm actually quite happy about that. Always have a little piece of doubt about whether I got the piece in there right until I finally assemble it. Okay. Alright, so now I'm starting to get worried here. Okay. So what we're going to do is, it helps if you build a bunch of these at the same time, but we're going to take a second, we're going to let this cure, we're going to give it 5 minutes so these pieces lock down. And then we'll be back to finish up the gluing. Remember, instead of pushing forward, sometimes it's good to just wait, let it set, and start up again. Alright, now I let that guy harden. So, they gave me a chance to look at the instructions. So the next step would be to glue in the arms and this pipe, okay? And then you'd glue in these claw attachments to the arms. My issue with that is if you install these arms wrong, these claw attachments won't fit to the backpack right where the pipe attachments are. Now that's fine because we're using plastic glue, so that'll give us a little play, it'll have some movement, but you've got to work relatively quickly. But what I was thinking instead, what I would recommend doing is that these actually slot pretty well. So the claw attachments slot to the arm pretty well. So we'll just glue the arms to the claws and then we'll glue the finished assembled set to the body. So let's go ahead and put that on. There's a little adapter in there that catches it. So let's wiggle it around just a little bit. Alright, so it's locked. So let's set it there. Let's grab his starboard arm with the extended weird fingers. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Disengage. Alright, so as we wait for those arms to dry, let's focus on this little pipe here. So small and delicate. Let me switch to the tweezers. Okay, so here's the problem. It says dotted line into body, and then it puts a shadow cast over there, so let's try to figure out where this fits. Where would this go? Let's look at the box art real quick. They don't show it. I don't see any pipe going down the side of his body. But it's on the instruction here. Okay. Lesson learned. Alright, there's a flat thing on the backpack. That's probably where the one side ties in. Yep, seems to fit somewhere. Okay, yep. This is just trying to dry fit it. Imagine when it gets slippery from the plastic glue. Oh my god. I swear I can't control my fingers anymore. Okay, yep, that seems to fit in. Right, okay, you gotta slide it around until you feel the robes clasp it. Okay, so just a touch of glue on each of the ends here. Instead of using the tweezers, you'll just kind of drop it into place. And I'll use the tweezers to push it around. And then there we go. Excellent. Since we fussed around with that enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue his left arm on first, then his right, and then I can get the little pinky glued on it. Okay, so let's try fit this first. You know, Nosferatu's it. And this one's simpler to fit because with this attachment on, this is actually the upper part of his backpack. So it fits in there pretty well. So let's get it there. This pipe. This arm. Hopefully I cleaned the nubbin off in his shoulder enough for this to fit like a glove. Almost literally. Alright, cool. So that's in. And then this piece make up the other part of the backpack. Okay, yeah, so they should have said assemble the arms first. I'm glad I stopped and paid more attention to what they were asking of me. Okay, excellent. Well, that went on well. And then we'll get the pinky blade, because that was done for fun. Okay. Now you'll want to do plastic glue just so it makes a tight fit. And bonds it, because imagine trying to travel with this and having it fall. Come on. Don't pivot on me. I need the controls of the tactile feel of my fingers. I need the size. Okay. Okay, it's kind of in there. Let's get the little pipe into its receiver. There, come on. Get that down a little bit. Okay. You go in there. Okay, cool. So engrossed in that, I don't even know how much I was caught in video. Alright, so let's mount it up to its base. So let's go like that. So we can try to get as much of the model centered on the base as possible, so it fits in my carrying case. Because hopefully I'll actually travel to places where they play this game. Played in Albuquerque, but there's a crew out here. Haven't locked onto them yet. Okay, so, oh, there. Excellent. Very well, that came together. Oh, not as bad as you thought. There's a couple pieces. It's like, I wish I had tiny little doll hands. But thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.